Henry Cavill spoke with GQ, breaking down some of his most iconic characters, including the Man of Steel. He talks what he would like to see out of a sequel, and he even references the Snyder Cut. So let's go ahead and react to it, check it out, let you know what I think and how his version of a sequel could play out. So here we go. We are watching Henry Cavill on his GQ interview. We're only going to watch the very first little tidbit of it just because I can break down for you and just summarize the rest. This is all the new stuff. Let's go ahead and check it out.
On really fleshing out Superman's early stages of his journey first. We had Man of Steel, and then we went quite a bit darker with Batman v Superman. And if he were to succumb to the anti-life equation and become bad
Very
Superman,
cool.
I really wanted to make sure that we saw the hero, Superman, and we saw the true symbol of hope, the beacon of light,
yes,
before we went down the path of darkness and then redemption. And
so right there was one of the first nods he has to the Snyder Cut right there. It's very cool to see a Justice League actor talk about it. Of course, not a lot of them do outside of Ray Fisher on Twitter. But it's very telling that Henry Cavill, of course, it's very obvious actually that he wanted the character to go a certain direction, and he had envisioned it that way after Man of Steel. And even though Zack Snyder took it in a different direction, he always wanted to tell the kind of immediate after effects of Man of Steel, and that was very apparent if you follow Henry Cavill throughout his interviews, and he reiterates it here, but he also acknowledges the fact that Zack Snyder did have a redemption arc and was going to get there at some point, but he does think that Man of Steel is the perfect place to have that sequel. So very cool. He talks about well, let's continue to watch and see what he says.
that I'm very keen to flesh
We'll
out.
talk about more. Highly suggest you check out this whole interview.
The wonderful thing about Man of Steel and what Snyder and Nolan and I wanted to do with Superman was create a Superman who was accessible in the sense that
You know what?
would we do if we lived in a world where we had to keep every single aspect of ourselves hidden? And
So, you know what? I can't play this whole interview for you, but I will summarize what he says. He basically breaks down my favorite superhero movie of all time, which is, of course, Man of Steel. No surprise if you've been following this channel. But he basically breaks down why Man of Steel was such a good starting point for him and what made him a Superman for this new era, and how his Superman captured the humanity aspect very well, and I really think you should check it out. It's a great interview. He goes on to later say in this interview he still wants to continue to portray the Man of Steel, Superman, and he thinks he thinks the Man of Steel is the perfect place to start. So I want to get into this because I've been having camera issues. After a certain amount of time, my camera just starts to shut off. So this is my second time recording this. But anyways, let's acknowledge a couple ways that this could happen. The first, let's go ahead and go about the way that he would like to have it happen, to pick up right between Man of Steel and BVS. And I do think that is a great place to start because he acknowledges, even in past interviews, that BVS feels to him more like a Batman story rather than a Superman sequel, even though Zack Snyder has said otherwise. It's totally understandable why he wants to tell more storytelling in between that time period. And one story that comes to mind off the top of my head is, and something that would allow this to work, is a Superman for all seasons type of storyline, because it's a storyline that won't have crazy ramifications going forward that would affect the timeline that had already been created with Justice League and BVS, obviously. But it's just something that could give more depth to his character. So if you haven't read Superman for All Seasons already, I think it's a great one-off type Superman story told by Jeff Loeb. It was created a long time ago, and it can't be done perfectly because of what happened in Man of Steel, but the great part about Superman for All Seasons is that it's told through the lens of different characters around Clark, and it really highlights his characters, his motivations, his heroism, and it's really done in a charming way. So one of my favorite Superman stories for sure. So even though they can't utilize Pa Kent. Of course, they can utilize someone like Lana. Maybe they can introduce that character. They can tell the story through Lois, which would be great to have Amy Adams back. And even more interestingly, it's set up the rivalry between Lex Luthor and the Man of Steel. And you could give more context and flesh the relationship out between Lex Luthor and Superman out even more. You can get Superman from Lex Luthor's perspective. You can get who Superman or Clark is from Lois Lane's perspective. Or even Martha Kent's perspective in place of Pa Kent. So that would be a way that I think Superman or the Man of Steel can get his sequel in the way he would like it. Because I think a lot of other Superman stories, the ramifications of those stories would affect how Justice League would play out and everything like that. So I think to get in between stories to showcase their heroism and the hope that this character could and does resemble, I think that could be done in a perfect way. So I would love to see that. I would absolutely love to see that. You know what else I would love to see is I would love to see them continue Zack's vision and just have that redemption arc with Henry Cavill's Superman in a future Justice League movie. Obviously, that's going to be the one option that's going to. It's the most far fetched. Obviously, we're going to keep fighting for it. But you know what else was far fetched? Releasing the Snyder Cut. That was far fetched too. So we can keep continuing to fight to restore the Snyderverse. But while I acknowledge it's unlikely, there's still a chance. I feel like there's a chance with this merger, with this Discovery merger. But anyways, the more realistic thing to happen down the road is possible cameos in like the Flash movie. There was a rumor that there was going to be a cameo in the Flash movie with a Superman in it. That Twitter user got his image deleted, and I don't know if his Twitter account still exists, but there was a rumor that he was on set for the Flash. Tinfoil hat, that's nothing. That is nothing confirmed at all. But supposedly the Flash movie is going to set up what the DCEU is going to look like going forward. Obviously, there's going to be a big emphasis on Supergirl, and how cool would it be to see Superman and Supergirl on the screen together? I think we're going to have to wait to the Flash, to be honest. But if I had to choose, I would love to see him back tell his story through a Superman for all seasons type of storyline. It would. Again, I just highlighted why I think that would be the best option. If you know of any other Superman stories that might fit in between Superman or Man of Steel and BVS, let me know in the comments below. And obviously, they don't have to tell the exact stories from the comics. They don't have to base it. They can tell an original story as well. But which villain or character would you like to see maybe in a Superman? Once again, so please hit the subscribe button.